Greenie. Hey, what are you doing down there? Reluctantly, the boy spurred his horse to catch up with the others and try to ignore the saddle pain. It grew meaner by the day, and he so much would have liked to let himself fall on the ground and cry out for his mother. But of course it wouldn't do. Such a moment of weakness, the others never would forgive him. Dust stung his eyes. They had protected him against the sun, but not against the heat. The scorching air was frying everything mercilessly. Even the wind was nothing more than an incinerating heat in motion. The vultures were still following them. How could those birds fly so high without being bothered by the sun? Was it true that vultures could sense when somebody was about to die? Maybe he. Just like that, then and there, in a saddle. "Greenie, hurry up!" impatiently Noel called. The boy had no idea what the man's real name was, and apparently the others neither, as since their departure 3 weeks ago, he was referred to by everyone as Noel. Greenie tried to swallow, feeling the dryness in his throat. They hadn't found a drop of water in the last 3 days, and their supply was almost gone. But it was said that there was a well in this region, and therefore the group decided to split up to search. None of the men turned out to be keen to take Greenie along, which he found real humiliating. To Noel, it didn't seem to matter, and gratefully the boy rode after him, ignoring the chuckles of the others. The sound of the hooves echoed against the rocks as they led their horses into the canyon. The cliffs on both sides rose so high that the canyon completely fell into shadow, which made the temperature a lot more bearable. This could be a place for a well, Greenie thought. Yet it took them quite a while to discover the pool. At the sight of the water, Greenie jumped off his horse and without thinking took off his hat, boots, and the sweaty clothes that stuck to his body. Like a mad puppy, he threw himself into the water. "Take it easy," grinned Noel. "Otherwise there will be nothing left for the others." For the first time since their departure, Noel smiled. "Come on in," the boy yelled back. But his laughter froze when he looked into Noel's gun. Slowly the man aimed and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed into the cleft, and the by now descended vultures flew up again. Greenie stood frozen. "Gotta let the others know we found a well," said Noel calmly. It took a moment for the boy to realize that the bullet had only struck water. Nervously he tried to laugh, but it didn't come out convincingly, and therefore he began to scrub his neck phonetically. Noel narrowed his eyes and asked, "What's that around your neck?" A little embarrassed, the boy answered, "Maria." "Show me." Slowly the boy waded towards him. The man leaned forward to reach out, but instead of taking Greenie's hand, he grabbed the boy by the hair and dragged him roughly on the shore. For a moment Greenie was too bewildered to react until he felt the groping hands. Panic, followed by anger, welled up as he rammed his fist into the man's stomach. Noel bent double and moaned. Greenie jumped to his feet, grabbed his clothes, and tried to get hold of the reins of his horse, but as the animal was startled by his sudden action, it backed away a few steps before it turned and took off, with Noel's horse following him. Cursing, the boy threw his clothes on the ground and looked desperately around. Without a horse he didn't have a chance. Still he started to run towards the entrance of the canyon, the only way out. But after a few yards, He realized his mistake. Why hadn't he taken his gun instead of his clothes when he had the chance? At this moment, the man might aim the gun at his back. Just the thought made the sweat break out again. He scrambled even faster over the rocks without paying attention to the sharp stones. It wasn't a bullet that stopped him, but a strangling noose around his neck that cut his breath and made him fall flat on his back. The sound of hoofs made him look up. It was the others. Greenie quickly took the opportunity to untie the noose around his neck, while one by one the men rode into the canyon, their eyes going from the man to the boy. Just in time, the boy thought. "Problems?" one of them asked, to which Noel replied, "The fellow doesn't want to be caught," and slowly started to rewind the rope again. Another commented, "We all expected you to have broken them by now." Noel raised his hands helplessly and smiled. "Then we better give you a hand," said the first one, untying his lasso from the saddle knob and maneuvered his horse towards the boy. One by one the men followed. The stone dropped from Greenie's hand, his legs nearly giving way. Calmly, Noel took out a tobacco bag, rolled a cigarette, and after lighting it, blew the top to a fiery red glow. Greenie's face turned pale. He understood. The lassos swayed loosely in the hands of the man, and the semicircle round the boy narrowed. Suddenly, Greenie turned, looked up, and frenetically began to climb the rocks. "Useless, you'll never make it," laughed Noel, but the boy ignored him and climbed on. 5, 10, 15 meters, until he bumped his head hard on an overhanging rock and could not go any further. From below, a scornful laughter sounded. "Told you it was pointless," Noel called out. "Can't escape your branding." The boy turned his head. "Oh no! Oh no!" he shouted back. "Then watch!" And his hands let go of the rock.